Journal continues.
And now on your screen on the Washington Journal is Representative Barbara Lee, a Democrat of California. Congresswoman, the Democrats are meeting with President Obama today. What is your message to him?
Well, my message, of course, to the president, which I'm certain that he agrees with, is we must not allow Medicare to be on the table to be cut. We must preserve Medicare. And also we must create jobs. The economy, of course, we see some glimmers of hope, but yet we see some setbacks in many communities. The unemployment rate is 16, 17%, especially in communities of color. The national average over 9%. We've got to have some direct investments in job creation, investments in infrastructure, in our education, in scientific research. There are ways that we can create jobs and create them right away. Our roads need repairs, our bridges need repairs, and we have to do that. And also, I know the message is going to be communicated to the president. Myself will communicate that also, that we need to begin to end this war in Afghanistan. This is costing $100 billion plus a year. Our young men and women have done a phenomenal job. It's time to bring them home. It's time to reduce our military footprint in Afghanistan and begin to use that $100 billion plus to create jobs here at home. So preserving Medicare and creating jobs and helping to move our country forward is going to be the message.
Well, Congresswoman, the Republicans met with the president, of course, yesterday. It looks, and they're pushing for deficit reduction, for spending cuts. Would you be willing to accept spending cuts?
I'm not willing to accept spending cuts that will cut the most vulnerable and that will hurt those who are unemployed and those who need to move forward in terms of taking care of their families by getting a job. No, so I would not support those types of spending cuts. But let me tell you what I would support. You're looking at a Pentagon budget that's really almost out of control. $750 billion plus. Again, we have Iraq, Afghanistan, and now Libya. We have to look at how we ensure our national security in a smarter way. And so we talk about also the subsidies to the oil companies. You have revenues that can be raised there. And so to just talk about spending cuts without talking about going back to the drawing board as it relates to the Bush-era tax cuts for the very wealthy, for millionaires and billionaires, to me that's unacceptable, and I know many of us are not going to go for that. So, you know, we have to do something, though, about the debt ceiling and go on and move to raise.
Well, Representative Lee, do you feel as a progressive, as a member of the Progressive Caucus, sidelined?
Do I feel sidelined? Absolutely not. When you look at the Progressive Caucus, our two co-chairs have done a phenomenal job. I co-chaired it for 4 years with Congresswoman Lynn Woolsey. Now we have Congressman Grijalva and Ellison co-chairing it, and it has done amazing work. We had our people's budget, which was balanced, which did not cut Medicare, which was a budget that created jobs and provided for a rational national security strategy. Our people's budget really is a mainstream budget that reflects the priorities of the American people. And what I have seen over the years that the Progressive Vision, the Progressive Caucus, which is of course the largest caucus in Congress, is really what reflects the values and the priorities of the American people. We have now over 80 members of the Progressive Caucus. When you look at many of the bills that have been passed or have come close to passing, I mean, I have some of the toughest bills and efforts on Afghanistan. 81 members signed a letter that we forwarded to the president saying that we should have a significant and sizable drawdown of troops beginning in July. When you look at many of the measures that are coming forth, the Progressive Caucus has held firm, it has held steady, and it definitely has been against these oil subsidies for the oil companies, and also has been, the Progressive Caucus has held firm on not eliminating Medicare, which the Republicans want to do.
Do you feel that you've gotten support from Democratic leadership, Nancy Pelosi, and from President Obama?
In terms of our move to get out of Afghanistan, is that?
Or just in general?
In general, absolutely, yes. I mean, when you look at the Progressive Caucus, and when you look at the votes that are cast, and when you look at what the president is engaged in. Of course, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he's the president, and we're members of Congress. And so we have our job to do as progressives and as members reflecting the people. This is the people's house. And so our leadership gets it. Our leadership has been and is a leadership that brings together the caucus. Of course, we have many different caucuses in Congress. We have a very diverse Democratic caucus. And I think that our leadership has, and I've been here 13 years, our leadership has been very fair and has made sure that the progressive voice is included in the deliberations. Now, we always may not win. And of course, our leadership may decide to take a different course. But what I can say is that they have listened. We have been at the table. Many of our amendments have been included. And they recognize that the Progressive Caucus is a very strong caucus and that our voice is very loud and that we do reflect the will of the American people. And we're willing to work in a bipartisan way and with all members of the caucus to see Medicare preserved and to help create jobs that our country so desperately needs.
What time do you meet with the president today?
We're meeting with the president this afternoon. I believe it's at 2 o'clock, 2:30.
Representative Barbara Lee, a Democrat of California, is our guest on the Washington Journal for the next 40 minutes or so. 202 is the area code. 624-1111 for Democrats, 1115 for Republicans, and 624-0760 for all others. You can also send her an email, journal@cspan.org, or a tweet, twitter.com/cspanwj. First call up for Congresswoman Lee comes from Glenwood, Indiana. Addie on our Democrats line. You're on the air.
Hi, don't cut me off. Miss Debbie, how you doing?
Hello.
Two things. First of all, the Republicans not going to let this president do anything, okay? He can do what he wants to try to get a job. Second of all, the Democrats need to get behind his president and help him. I'm a first-time voter, and I watch these Democrats. They more against this president than the Republicans are. And we need these jobs for these poor people. We need our insurance, so thank you.
Congresswoman.
I believe what you have seen with Democrats is an agenda that wants to ensure the American people that we will preserve Medicare. And I know the president wants to do that also. We have been working very closely with the president as Democrats to create jobs for those who are unemployed and also to create jobs to help turn our economy around. We have not seen the Republicans come forward with one job creation initiative. Democrats have been putting forth job creation efforts. We've been trying to make sure that the president understands that we support, and he knows that, his economic recovery efforts. When you look at what happened with our recovery bill, we created millions of jobs and also helped stop what would have been a depression. The president turned that around. Of course, Democrats in the Congress helped do that. We did not receive any Republican votes for that. And so there are going to be disagreements. I mean, this is a democracy, and we have 3 branches of government. So you can't expect constantly everyone to walk lockstep, but what you can expect is unity on behalf of the Democrats and help for the American people in terms of making sure our senior citizens understand we will not let Medicare be touched and that we will move forward to create jobs.
From the Politico this morning, Congresswoman, Paul Ryan confronts Obama on Medicare. Representative Paul Ryan directly confronted President Obama over Democratic ridicule of Ryan's controversial Medicare overhaul plan, while other GOP leaders accused the president of demagoguery during a chilly bipartisan White House meeting. Ryan, a Wisconsin Republican who chairs the House Budget Committee, pressed the president to stop describing his 2012 budget plan, which would replace the government-run system for senior health care with a privately administered program, as a voucher, according to several Republicans in attendance.
I have to say it is what it is. The Ryan budget cut Medicare. Once again yesterday in the Homeland Security, which is a rule, which is a measure that came forth on the floor to establish the parameters for the debate for the Homeland Security bill, they cut Medicare again. And so I think that what Mr. Ryan is doing is trying to figure out a way to back off of that now, because I think they see that the majority of the American people, our seniors, young people, support Medicare, and we do not want to see it tinkered with. We do not want to see it on the table to be cut. And naturally, they would get very defensive because I think they can see what is happening in the country and where public opinion is. And so, again,